PH, the co-founder and managing director of Zerpas, the Philippines, and the biggest mobile development company. And of course, he's an ultra marathoner, an Ironman Pacific, Asia Pacific champion, and a Melbourne finisher.
Asia Pacific champion.
Oh, in the Asia Pacific Championship, yep. And he is also a multiple Ironman 70.3 finisher, including races held in Taiwan, Hawaii, and of course, in Cebu. So give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Raymond Racaza. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Raymond Racaza.
Yeah. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here to share my experience in Cebu. So basically, the title for the talk is Tips for First-Time IM 70.3 Philippine Triathletes. Okay. Quick question. Who among you guys will do 70.3 Cebu for the first time? Can I have a show of hands, please? All right. Yeah, great. That, for me, Cebu is basically a turning point in my life. I consider it one of the best midlife decisions I've ever made. And I'll actually share with you guys the whole journey. So the talk is actually divided into 3 parts, which I'll actually discuss some points for each and a lot of anecdotes for each point. I'll actually be discussing race day as well. I'll also be discussing post-race. So first of all, I'm not a coach, so I'm going to dispense information for you guys, practical information that you can use in Cebu as an age grouper. Basically, I'm just like you guys. I have a day job. I'm not a professional. I'm a husband. I'm a father of a 5-year-old girl. So triathlon is basically my love. It's my hobby. So, all right. Why am I showing this slide? 22 Jump Street? Because you guys have exactly 22 days before the big day. And that's why. So just a reality check, guys. What I'm going to show you, ideally, it should not disrupt, but it'll aid and supplement what you guys already have now. Okay, pre-race, months leading up to the race. I'll stress on months, okay? So not the 22 days, it's months. So there are 4 major pointers for me on the pre-race. The first one that really struck me, that really helped me in the journey was, the first one as a newbie is to set a goal. A lot of people would say, nah, I'll go there and finish. Okay, maniwala. Everybody, you should set a goal. And having a goal will actually, well, first of all, when you have that goal, you commit to that goal. And a lot of us have different reasons why we joined 70.3. A lot of it is, of course, personal, for health. A lot of it, oftentimes I hear self-improvement as one of the main reasons. But having a goal will basically keep you motivated for that race. Having a goal will keep you focused on that race. And of course, it'll keep you confident because you have checkpoints during and the whole journey. And there are actually 2 major goals I have whenever I race. Number 1, of course, you actually paid for it. We're not, as age groupers, we're not paid to do this. We actually paid to join. So one thing that, I mean, this is also one of the biggest things, is to have fun. The best races I've done were the ones where I had the most fun. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. So, and this is also one mantra, one thing that I always adhere to for every race that I join. I always consider the finish line as the starting line of the next race. Life doesn't end in Cebu. I mean, there's so many races to join. It's one of those things that opens, well, you know, up plenty of doors. So there's so many races in the Philippines. There's so many races outside the Philippines, and all of these races have basically. I mean, all of these races I would never have visited. I would never have seen the beauty of those places if it weren't for triathlon. So, like, yeah, I mean, we recently had a trip to Hawaii 70.3 in Kona. It was basically a dream come true to be at the mecca of our sport. We were also able to compete in Melbourne, Asia Pacific Championship. Okay, the second slide. Training. This is also one huge part in the pre-race. Of course, actually, this is the meat of the pre-race part. Training. Okay. I'm the type of person that really enjoys the journey, especially training. For me, the race is actually, I see it as a graduation day. The whole training is your school year. That's where you put in the hours. Imagine the race. Our goals are what, 5, 6 hours, 7 hours. A training block for a week is typically 15 to 20 hours, or it depends on what time you guys have. So I really relish that journey. And especially, of course, it helps that if you have a group of individuals, like-minded individuals that you share it with. So training nuggets. The first one information I'd like to dispense is you gotta love it. I've always believed that garbage in is garbage out. You go into training with a very, you know, if you go in peeling yourself off from bed, forcing yourself to do it, it'll be junk output. But if you have that positive frame of mind, you go in, you want it, it's a different story. And of course, for endurance sports and endurance, and especially for Ironman 70.3 and Ironman, there are no shortcuts. There is no such thing as a magic bullet. There's no such thing as something that will make you faster. Our sport is basically all about marginal gains. All of these things that we get adds up. So think about it. But the biggest part is training. This one. Practice your transitions. I honestly suck at transitions. I learned my first transition on race day of my very first race. There was a kind coach, Coach Raul Floresca, helped me out on race day because I didn't know what to do. So again, this is something that you guys should look at. This is something that's often overlooked. Nobody teaches transitions. And imagine you're going to transition, you know, you have a strong swim. It can easily be eaten up in a transition. You spend 5 minutes in transition. You spend 6 minutes in transition. You don't know what to do. And you're doing it under duress. Again, you're running, your heart rate's up. So I strongly suggest you guys practice your transitions if it's your first time. So especially T1, that is the crucial part. You're coming from swim, so you're dazed. And there are, again, in line with there are no shortcuts, bawal mag-cramming. Bawal na bawal. I think Coach Iget touched on this, that bawal mag-cramming. Cramming, you may have, some of us might have gotten, away with it in college, but in triathlon, no way. There's no chance. 22 days, if you add more now, I honestly think, now should be the peak of your training. This one. Always remember, there is no Batman in triathlon. What do I mean by this? Walang bahala na si Batman in triathlon. Robin is basically us. Batman is triathlon. You'll be slapped in the face if you do this. You know, bahala na si Batman. I'll go in. Kaya na to. No. I mean, this is something that you should always prepare. All of the best races, again, that I've done, I've meticulously prepared everything. The course profile, from transition 1, transition 2, how I envision going out of the swim, getting into my gear, riding the bike, even certain points of the race. I know when to take my nutrition. These things are all planned, which I'll also discuss later on in this presentation. So one anecdote I'd like to share is last year in Cebu, I basically hit all the targets we had that we set. So I was there. I was very confident after Cebu. I signed up for Taiwan. So again, thinking that, okay, I did well in Cebu. I did okay in Cebu. I'll carry that fitness, which is typical. Dadaling ko na yan. May kargado naman eh, di ba? Kaya na yan, Taiwan na yan. I'll just do minimal training. I was slapped in the face. It was one of the most difficult races I've done. And again, this was actually a turning point for me. Because that time as well, I also signed up for my first Ironman in Australia. And I realized that, man, this is half. This is a 70.3, and I got kicked. I got slapped around, and I gave up. Imagine doubling that distance. Imagine what's going to happen. So that was a huge turning point for me. I really put my heart into it after that race. So, of course, one thing, again, budget permitting, this is also a huge part of the whole process, I honestly think, because, I mean, triathlon is not, I think it's a complex sport because of the 3 disciplines. One thing I strongly suggest is you get a coach. I mean, of course, we're very lucky, there are a lot of great coaches, but of course, I'm very blessed to be working with Coach Ige. So, yeah, big props to Coach Ige. So what does a coach do? Basically, your coach will keep you motivated. He does the checks and balances. Again, there are a lot of training plans that you can get online, but it's a different story when somebody's watching you. Somebody's basically overseeing what you're doing. And of course, all of us have different physiological, we're all different. So a personalized training plan for triathlon, I honestly think is a must. Okay, this is my favorite part. Race day, it's basically you're getting ready to rumble. So, quick note on Cebu. We're very blessed that we have Cebu. We're very blessed that we have IM 70.3 Cebu because Cebu is beautiful. As far as I know, it's the only race in the calendar that's in the Shangri-La. The races we've been to are really something else. So imagine you're racing in paradise. The swim part, it's basically crystal clear water. It's amazing. The bike portion, of course, closed roads. And the run leg, it's awesome. Simply because you see all of your friends, familiar faces, people you've seen training, people you've trained with, different teams you've met along the way. So it's an awesome feeling. I honestly think even the run part, it feels like one big party. Oh, sorry. Please attend. For the first-timers, please attend the race briefing. It is a must. As in, it's a huge, huge must. So, the race day, I broke it down into 4 parts. Okay, let me discuss the first part. The swim portion. Okay, one thing overlooked, one thing that people don't say is really to arrive early for a stress-free transition setup. Why do I stress this point? Stress-free what suffers if you're stressed out? What's the first sport that you do? What's the first sport? It's swim. If you're stressed out, if you missed something at the hotel, if there's something you overlook, you're gonna be stressed out. So ideally, you should be there early. Stress-free means good. Stress-free means, you're all calm. Again, one of the most, I must say, amazing races that I've joined was Australia, Melbourne, Australia. It was so serene. I was there early. I put on the wetsuit. It was an amazing feeling. There was no stress. So again, I suggest you try to do a recon swim, permitting. Again, if the organizer permits it. Once the buoy lines are there, try to do a recon swim before the event. Ideally, if you have time, try to do it. Again, this is often overlooked because when we're doing swim training, there's a line where we're going. But if it's your first time to do open water, or if there's fear of open water, I strongly suggest you work on sighting, because oftentimes I've lost a lot of time just by swimming more. Simple as that. I go, instead of a 1.9K swim, I swim 2.2 or more. So again, if you're, sighting is a huge thing. Sighting is one thing you should practice now, not on race day. And this one is something else, especially for newbies. Beware of the washing machine. Again, hopefully Cebu won't be your first triathlon, your open water race. But if you're not time conscious, 2 to 5 minutes won't make a big deal. It's a long race. Imagine you're there, front of the pack, your heart rate's up. And if you have a bad swim, again, all of these things have a domino effect. If you have a bad swim, what suffers? The bike. And if you have a bad bike, what suffers? It's a swim. So, but it's no guarantee. Again, if you have a good swim, it sets you up for a good bike. Again, if you have a good bike, it sets you up for a good run. It's no guarantee, but your batting average or your chance is better. So beware of the washing machine. I honestly think there are no friends when you're out there in the open water. It's fair game. You get kicked, or you kick, or you hit each other. It's fair game. So beware of that. If you're uncomfortable of the water, have people go ahead in front of you. What's 2 minutes for a race that's 6 hours or 5 hours for most? So beware of that. The bike leg, all right, one of my favorites. The bike leg is not the Tour de France. Why do I stress this? There are a lot of people who, treat this like a road race. There is no drafting in this rule. Again, it pains me to see that people often draft, but again, I stress this. There should be no drafting in our sport. There is no drafting in our sport. Strictly observe proper bike etiquette. I leave that, again, on race briefing. I strongly suggest, again, you go there because they will discuss this. They will touch up on this issue, even verbal signals. Don't be offended if there are, of course, again, aggressive athletes or athletes, that would mention bike left, on your left. Don't get pissed off. That's how it is. There are really faster athletes than us. They pass on your left. So observe proper bike etiquette. So this one is, again, it's overlooked. Make sure you know how to do basic bike maintenance. I know some monster athletes, amazing age groupers, but they can't change a flat. So the race over. You spend so much in training, you give your heart out in training. If you get a flat on the race, game over. You have to wait for the mechanic, which will take a long time. So again, make sure you know how to do basic bike maintenance. Flat tires, even adjustment of brakes, something, basic bike maintenance. So the run leg, my favorite part of the race. So follow your game plan. I think very general. Coach Ige has given an excellent present talk earlier. But one thing is, again, I stress in that part, I stress your game plan. Don't follow the game plan of others. Even if you're feeling great, you see these guys, you see people you're training with, you run at their pace, it's a big question mark. So again, you know yourself, follow your game plan. And if you have a game plan, again, this is also one thing. Make sure you have a contingency plan. This is your first race. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what to do. For the first Ironman that I was able to participate in, the whole race that we did was all about contingencies, which was awesome because my main nutrition, which I make myself, dropped during the bike leg. I basically dropped 6 sandwiches during the bike leg, so I should be done. It's a 11-hour race. I should be done, but I had the backup. I had bars, and even in the course there are a lot of nutrition. So make sure you familiarize yourself with what they serve on nutrition on race day. But make sure you have a contingency plan. Be prepared for the heat. Last year, we were blessed with good weather. The previous year, it was hot. So again, this year, signs are, it's going to be hot. It's always hot in Cebu. So we'll be lucky if it would rain, but be prepared for the heat. And this is often overlooked. This is one of the things I really relish in Cebu, the run leg. Acknowledge the volunteers. These guys don't get a single buck. And the reason why I stress this is because when you acknowledge them, it gives energy. And that energy is something that you can use. You'll feel it when you're there. You'll feel the vibe. You'll feel the energy. But when you acknowledge about volunteers, they go crazy. So, okay, is there a fourth discipline? Now, triathlon, again, swim, bike, run. It's as complicated as it is. We're adding a fourth one. Do you guys think there's a fourth one? In my book, I honestly think there is. Nutrition. Again, this is something that is often overlooked. You have the best trained athletes, but they don't even think of nutrition. So again, this is also one thing that I also look at. And one thing about nutrition though, I won't discuss the details on nutrition. There's a talk tomorrow that will discuss this. But one thing, because everything, even nutrition, your nutrition plan is tailor-made. It's tailor-fit. One thing you should do now, which you still have time, it's 22 days away, is to practice your nutrition. Practice what you're going to do on race day. Again, one of the simplest things that's taught, don't do anything. Don't eat anything new on race day. So practice what you're going to eat in Cebu. Practice it now. Practice it tomorrow, next week. Or just practice it. Okay. Post-race. Okay. Have lots of rice, but not extra rice. So what do I mean by this? It's rest, ice, compression, elevation. There are actually two more letters here if you're injured, but I'll focus on this, rice. Rest, ice, compression, and elevation, very important. If you don't have, typically when you're traveling, you won't have access to ice and you won't have access to elevation simply because usually when we travel, we're a family. So kulang yung unan. So walang elevation. So what do? I rack and roll basically. So what do I mean by rack and roll? Rest and compression. Again, compression, there are a lot of excellent compression products out there. Rest, just rest your body. But not immediately after the race. Ideally, it should be when your muscles are rested. I strongly suggest you do a foam roller. And aside from the foam roller, one thing I wasn't able to add is rehab, physical therapy. So it's also one thing that you guys should look at. So, but foam roller, I cannot stress the importance of a foam roller. As painful as it is, the foam roller is one of my best friends. So through the years, I've been injury-free, thank God. Even with the mileage that we're putting in, I've never had any serious injury. So okay, so even after the race, is there life after Cebu? So I guess there is, after Cebu, you meet a lot of individuals. The triathlon community is an amazing community. You'll meet fantastic individuals, and there are a lot of hashtags that we throw out. The common ones are bromance, of course, and the common ones are mammal. So, you guys have any idea what a mammal is for the newbies? Middle-aged men in Lycra. So, you'll see a lot of them in Cebu. So, and treat yourself, after the race, treat yourself with a try-goodie. Again, physical therapy. Mas masakit pa sa Ironman ang physical therapy, but I honestly, take my word for it, it'll pay dividends. And sign up for another race, Again, there's so many races out there, so many amazing, we're blessed that there's a lot of races that we can join. So I suggest you sign up for another race. Again, one of the things that I look forward to is the next challenge. So just make sure that you set a goal for that. So again, sign up for another race. Again, this is also one thing that's very close to my heart. Exactly 12 months ago, I was just like you guys. I was doing my first 70.3, but in the span of 12 months, this will be my fifth 70.3, and I was able to squeeze in an Ironman during that 12 months. So, and to end the talk, I'd like to share this quote. This is one of the quotes that if I could put a pin on it if I could just, scribble one thing on my wall, it would be this. An Ironman does not build character. So if you go there thinking you'll be stronger, you'll be somebody else, it doesn't build character. What an Ironman does, it reveals it. It shows you who you are. It shows you what you're made of. An Ironman race, these races were built to test ourselves, to test the human spirit. So that's when you see your true self. And when you overcome it, you'll realize that there's a different person inside. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line.
All right, questions now for Raymond. We have 2 mics here at the front. I think there's going to be another mic there at the back, especially for the newbies who will be doing Cebu for the first time. Questions from the newbies. Like now, how not to get sucked under the buoy. Something like that.
Sige. Anyway, while they're thinking of stuff, we actually have giveaways for the talk.
So there you go.
There's actually a checklist provided by the Starting Line multi-sport store. So again, this is a very useful tool. Have this on your transition bag or bring this along. Put this in your wallet or put this somewhere convenient. So it's a checklist for your gear, for what you should bring on T1 and T2, or even on race day. So that's a useful tool that you guys can use. Again, care of the Starting Line multi-sport store.
It's a great gift for you guys. Any more questions? Any questions for Raymond? Yeah, back there. There's a microphone here, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Ano yung question ba? Oh, humihingi ng ano. Any question for Raymond? Because we're going to play another game, and Raymond's going to be asking the questions during the game. So, if there are no questions for Raymond, we're going to jump right into the game right now. So, questions? Questions? You have a question, sir? Oh, there, meron.
Yeah, please.
Here. The question is, what does a full Ironman feel like?
Well, sige, good question. A full Ironman is a totally different animal than a 70.3. It's a whole day race. Imagine you're going to be racing in the morning. When I told my family, my wife and my kid, I told them, they dropped me off there at 5 a.m. During race day. I basically told them to go on a tour, have lunch, have dinner, and come back for me at the finish line. So it's a totally different animal, but the experience again is not that different. I mean, your first 70.3 will be amazing. So, but when you're looking for the next challenge, when you're looking to take that, take it a step further, I guess, an Ironman race is something else. Even the training method the training plan is totally different from what you would do from a 70.3. So, but both are amazing races. So, that's it. Thank you.
Next question, please. Next question. All right, if there's no more questions, we're going to have Raymond play the game right now. We're giving away 2 gift packs from Garmin. Wow. Let me check if the camera's in here.
910 XT.
I was looking more for the...
And a Vector...
yeah, that's why. We have 2 gift packs here from Garmin. The condition is the winner of the question will have to come up here. The guy who answers the question correctly will have to answer the question right here. Yeah. So fire away any question from your talk.
On the slide, what is the 4th discipline?
Come up, come up, come up, come up. There you go. Yana taking initiative. What's the answer?
Post-nutrition or nutrition.
Nutrition, yes.
Very good. You have one. Hold on. Our friends from Garmin. Dito muna. Our friends from Garmin want to take your picture with Raymond. All right, one more gift set. I'm still looking for the camera.
Vector. Is that the Vector?
I don't think it's a towel.
Yeah. On the swim leg, what should you guys be aware of? So beware of the...
All right.
Washing machine.
The washing machine?
Yes.
Is correct.
Yeah.
The dreaded washing machine. All right, now we're going to be giving away stuff from Headwear. Ilan yan? 5 items from Headwear. Go ahead, Raymond. Fire away another question.
In our sport, there is the one I showed. Who is this? There is no.
No, Batman.
Yes. Yes.
The mic is powerful than the stage. More powerful than the stage.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Yeah. On the bike leg, one of the points. I mean, name any of the points that were showed or that I dispensed during the talk on the bike leg on race day.
Yes, sir.
Proper bike etiquette.
Yes,
There you
absolutely.
go. Thank you, sir. Congratulations. We got what? 3 more. 3 more.
Okay. On the run leg, what should you guys follow?
Run leg.
Your own game plan.
Yes, yes.
Congratulations. Got 2 more.
Okay, and when you have a game plan, what else should you have?
Contingency plan?
Yes.
Contingency plan. Yes, sir. One last question.
Sige. An Ironman doesn't build character. What does it do? It
reveals it.
Very good. It reveals it. There you go. Thank you very much. Everybody that was an entertaining talk. Raymond,
Yeah.
we're going to bring you to the center of the stage. All right. Thank you for being here today. And on behalf of Ironman 70.3 Philippines, we have a certificate of appreciation presented to Raymond Racaza, our guest speaker. And of course, we have, welcome to the team, sir. Hey, another one, a gift pack. Raymond, it's complete now. All right, at this point, we'd like to have everybody come up on stage, have a picture with Raymond. Come up on stage, guys, come on. All the newbies, especially the newbies, come up on stage. All the newbies, good luck out there in Cebu. Oh, we got Raymond's posse first. Raymond's posse with the selfie.